Evan Hawley had traveled across ruined planets, silent moons, and forgotten star routes. But nothing felt as strange as the moment he stepped inside the ancient temple of Tharankel. The air inside was heavy, warm, and alive, as if the walls themselves were breathing. Soft silver lights moved like tiny spirits along the carved stones. The place felt older than any human record. Older than most alien civilizations, too. He was not there by accident. He had followed the trail of a wounded girl. An alien girl with pale blue skin and glowing eyes. Someone he had saved only hours ago from hunters. Her name was Liara. She had begged him not to follow her into the temple. She said the place was forbidden. She said he would not survive it, but Evan did not listen. Something in her voice had fear. And when someone was afraid, he did not walk away. He found her deep inside the temple, standing before a glowing bowl made of crystal. The bowl floated slightly above an ancient stone slab. The liquid inside was silver, almost like melted moonlight. It pulsed softly, as if it had a heartbeat. Liara turned when she sensed him. Her eyes widened, and fear filled her face. "You should not be here," she whispered. "This place is not for humans." Evan stepped closer, keeping his voice calm. "You were hurt. I couldn't let you walk in alone." She shook her head slowly. Her hands trembled as she touched the rim of the glowing bowl. "You don't understand. This drink holds the fate of my people. If I drink it, I will not survive. But if I don't, everyone I know will die." Her voice cracked, and she looked away as if ashamed. Evan took a slow breath. "Then why come here at all?" "Because I am the last of my bloodline," she said, her voice soft as dust. "Only my family can take the burden. Only my family can carry the curse." Evan studied the bowl, feeling a chill crawl up his back. "What curse?" Liara looked at him, and her glowing eyes were filled with something deeper than fear, something like sorrow. "If someone drinks this," she said, pointing at the silver liquid, "they will lose everything that makes them who they are. Their memories, their shape, their spirit, their humanity." She hesitated before adding, "The drink erases the self. It binds the drinker to an ancient guardian. You become a vessel, nothing more." Evan's heart thumped. He had seen strange things in the galaxy. He had met creatures that were half machine, half shadow. But this felt worse. It felt personal. "And you were ready to drink it?" he asked quietly. She nodded. "It is the law. My people need a protector. They need a vessel for the guardian. And I am the last one. If I refuse, thousands will die. And what about you?" Evan asked. She blinked. "What about me?" The way she said it told Evan everything. Her life was never considered important. Before he could speak again, the ground trembled softly, the temple. Lights flickered. Whispering voices rose from the cracks in the walls. They spoke in a language older than stars, and yet Evan felt like the whispers were saying his name. Liara flinched and grabbed his arm. "It is waking. The guardian feels your presence. Humans were never meant to be here. It will not let you leave." Evan gently pulled her behind him. "Then we face it together." "No," she said firmly. "You must go. If the guardian sees you, it will punish you. It will break you. This temple is built to destroy anyone who tries to stop the ritual." Evan gave her a small smile. "I've been broken before." Her eyes shook. "Please, I could not bear seeing someone die for me." The tremors grew stronger. Dust fell from the ceiling like soft gray snow. The whispering grew louder, sharper, almost angry. Liara clutched her chest. "It is coming. It is calling for the drink. Calling for me." Evan stepped closer to the floating bowl. The silver liquid shimmered, calling out like a living thing. It felt warm, even from a distance. It felt powerful. "Dangerous. Alive, Liara," he said softly. "You're not drinking this." Not while I'm here. She stared at him in shock. You cannot mean that. You are human. This will erase you. You will not be Evan anymore. Evan stared into the glowing bowl, and he felt the temple shift around him as if holding its breath. That girl out there, he said quietly. The one I carried through the forest. She deserves to live. You deserve to live. Liara's voice broke. Why? Why would you risk everything for me? Evan looked at her, and the answer was simple. Because no one else ever did. The temple roared awake. The guardian rose. And the warning no human ever heard before was only the beginning. The guardian had not shown itself yet, but its presence filled the air like a heavy storm waiting to break. The glowing walls of the temple shifted slowly, bending their light toward Liara as if calling her closer. Her breath came fast, her hands shaking as she stepped backward. The silver drink pulsed again, sending soft ripples of light across the chamber floor. Evan stood between her and the bowl, watching every movement of the strange liquid. It almost felt alive, like it was studying him in return. He had seen many alien rituals in his travels, but this one felt different. It felt as if the drink itself had a will, a hunger, and a purpose that no human mind could understand. Liara's voice broke the silence. You should leave while you still can. The guardian is slow to rise, but once it awakens fully, nothing in this place will listen to you. The walls, the air, the power, all of it will obey only the curse. Evan gave her a calm look. Then, tell me everything. What is this curse? Liara lowered her head. Her voice was soft, filled with shame. Long ago, my ancestors made a pact with the spirit of war. It promised to protect our world if one of our people carried its power. Every generation, one member of the bloodline must drink. They lose their identity. They become a vessel, a living container for the guardian. She paused, her fingers trembling. When the vessel dies, a new member is forced to take their place. Evan frowned. Forced? She nodded. No one chooses this. It is duty. If no one drinks, the guardian breaks free. It becomes a storm that destroys everything. My people learned that lesson centuries ago. Evan glanced around the temple. The carvings on the walls showed battles, fires, and strange creatures kneeling before a glowing figure. Every image told the same story, destruction and fear, followed by a sacrifice. For a moment, he imagined Liara standing here alone, ready to surrender her life because her world demanded it. The thought twisted inside him. So you came to die, Evan said quietly. She flinched. I came because I am the last one left. My parents died carrying the guardian. My brother tried to escape his fate. The temple found him anyway. Her voice grew tight. I cannot escape. This was always meant to be my end. Evan took a step closer to her. You don't deserve that. No one does. A deep rumble rolled through the ground, making the crystal bowl shake. The silver drink rose like a small wave before settling again. Liara gasped and grabbed Evan's arm. It is waking faster. It senses conflict. It senses you. Evan didn't move away. Let it sense me. I'm not going anywhere. She looked at him with fear. Humans cannot survive the binding. Your mind will tear apart. Your body will dissolve. The guardian is older than your species. You cannot fight something like that. Evan gave a small, tired smile. I've fought things I wasn't supposed to fight before. That is not bravery, she whispered. That is death. Another rumble sounded. The lights along the walls bent inward, forming a funnel of spinning silver mist toward the bowl. The whispers grew louder, speaking in a tongue Evan did not understand, but Liara understood. She froze in terror. It is calling me, she whispered. The ritual is beginning. I cannot refuse the call. Evan stepped in front of her again. You can. Because I'm here. She stared at him, lost between fear and confusion. Why? Why risk yourself for someone who is nothing to you? You're not nothing, Evan said. You're someone who wants to save others even when no one saves you. I respect that. Before she could answer, the entire temple shook violently. A massive stone door slammed shut behind them, trapping them inside. Liara screamed as the air thickened, glowing threads of energy rising from the floor and forming strange symbols mid-air. Evan grabbed her hand. Stay behind me. It won't matter, she cried. The Guardian has chosen. It will take me. But Evan stared at the silver drink, and he felt something inside him shift, something brave, something reckless. What if it chooses someone else? He whispered. Liara's eyes widened in horror. Evan, no, but her plea was cut off as the Guardian finally rose, a giant shadow, a voice like breaking worlds, and the curse that no human was ever meant to face, opened its eyes. The chamber darkened as if someone had pulled the light out of the air. Every silver glow inside the temple turned cold blue. A low hum rolled through the stone floor, rising and falling like the sound of a giant breathing beneath their feet. Liara clutched Evan's arm, unable to stop shaking. Evan kept his stance firm, though even he felt every hair on his skin stand straight. Something moved behind the silver mist near the far wall. At first, it looked like a shadow. Then it took shape, tall, enormous, made of smoke and burning threads of light twisted together. Its face had no features, only two glowing points that pulsed like angry stars. The Guardian had awakened. Its voice filled the room, so deep the air vibrated. The vessel has arrived, it said, its tone cold and emotionless. The ritual must continue. Liara's breath caught. Evan stepped forward, blocking her with his body. She's not drinking anything, Evan said. The Guardian tilted its head, its form flickering like a dying flame. Human, you are not part of the pact. You should not be here. Line here. Anyway, the Guardian's glowing eyes narrowed. Humans break easily. Evan ignored the threat. You want her to die so she can carry you. Why? There must be another way. There is no other way, the Guardian answered. The power must bind to a vessel. If the vessel refuses, this world will fall into ruin. Liara whispered. Evan, please don't talk to it. The Guardian does not reason. It only obeys. The pact. The creature drifted forward, its smoky limbs stretching across the chamber floor like long shadows. When it spoke again, the walls trembled. Chosen vessel, it said, addressing Liara. Step forward. She flinched, stepping back instead. I can't, she whispered. Not anymore. The Guardian's form flickered violently. Then all life will end. Your hesitation is a betrayal of your people. Evan stepped in front of her again. She's not doing this. A deep snarl filled the air, though the Guardian had no mouth. You dare interfere in a bloodline pact older than your species? Evan didn't move. Yes, the Guardian raised one smoky arm. A blast of invisible force slammed into Evan's chest. Liara screamed as he hit the ground, but he pushed himself back up with a grunt. His legs shook, but he refused to fall again. The Guardian paused, surprised he survived. Humans do not endure my touch. I'm not like most humans, Evan said, catching his breath. You are weak, the Guardian replied. Your mind will break. Your bones will crumble. Leave while you still have shape. Evan wiped dust from his face. I'm not leaving. The Guardian's two glowing eyes turned bright and violent. The ground cracked beneath its weight, and the silver bowl began to spin slowly in the air, rising higher and higher. The liquid inside glowed fiercely, almost white now, humming with power. Liara cried out. The ritual is beginning. Evan, please don't do this. You can't fight it. No one can. Evan turned to her. His voice was soft but sure. You shouldn't die for a tradition that stole your life before it even began. But if I don't drink, she said. Everyone I love will die. Evan looked back at the floating bowl. Let me try. Liara's eyes widened in terror. No. No, you don't understand. A human body cannot hold the guardian. It will destroy you. Your mind will shatter before you even swallow the drink. The guardian's voice cut through the air like lightning. Only the bloodline may drink. Only the bloodline may carry the power. Maybe it's time someone else tried, Evan said quietly. Liara grabbed his wrist. Vevan, listen too. Me. If you drink it, you will not be Evan anymore. You won't know me. You won't know yourself. You won't be human. He met her gaze. Then you'll remind me who I was. Her eyes filled with tears. She shook her head. I can't lose. Someone else. You won't lose me. But his voice carried a hint of fear. Fear not for himself, but for her. The guardian moved closer, towering over both of them. Step aside, human. The vessel must drink. Evan did not move. The guardian's power built like a storm, swirling the silver mist violently around them. The bowl lowered again, stopping inches from Evan's hands as if daring him. Liara whispered, Please. Please don't take this from me. This was supposed to be my burden. Not anymore, Evan whispered back. The guardian roared so loudly the temple shook. If the human drinks, he will not survive. His soul will be torn apart. His humanity will vanish. Evan reached for the bowl. Liara grabbed his arm again. The guardian raised its arm to strike, and all three froze in that single breath. The moment before fate chose its victim, the air inside the temple felt heavier than stone. Even the light seemed to slow down, bending around Evan as he stood with one hand hovering above the glowing bowl. Liara held his arm with trembling fingers, her voice caught somewhere between a scream and a whisper. The guardian towered above them, a storm made of shadow and light, its burning eyes fixed sharply on Evan. Human, the guardian thundered. This is your final warning. Step aside. Evan did not move an inch. Liara shook her head wildly. Evan, please. You don't understand what you're doing. The guardian isn't threatening you. It's telling the truth. The drink will tear your mind apart. Evan's voice was calm. Maybe, but I'm not letting you die. Liara backed away, her breaths sharp and uneven. Why? Why would you choose death for someone you met only yesterday? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Evan looked at her with steady eyes. You think that matters? You're someone who's been alone your whole life. Someone who was told her life belongs to everyone except herself. Someone who came here ready to die so others could live. He took a step toward her. I've seen people walk away when someone needed help. I've seen people pretend they didn't see pain, and I've been one of those people before. I won't be again. Liara covered her mouth with both hands as tears formed. She had never heard words like that, not from her people, not from anyone. The guardian's voice crashed through the room again. Emotions will not change fate. Bloodline determines destiny. The vessel has already been chosen. Evan turned slowly toward the creature. Then choose again. The guardian's form shook, like a volcano struggling to hold its fire. Your arrogance is blasphemy. The pact is sacred. That pact is killing her, Evan said, so it can break. The guardian raised his smoky arm. Lightning-like energy gathered at its fingertips. Liara lunged forward. No! Don't hurt him! She shouted. The energy hit the ground beside Evan, exploding into a burst of silver sparks. The shockwave nearly threw him off his feet, but he stayed upright, teeth clenched, eyes locked on the guardian. The creature paused. It did not understand how a human could still be standing. Why do you resist? It growled. Because I choose to, Evan answered. A deep hum filled the chamber. Thin lines of ancient symbols lit up beneath them, forming a circle around the bowl. The temple itself seemed to breathe harder with every passing second. Liara grabbed Evan's shoulders. Please, I beg you, run away. If you leave now, the Guardian will ignore you. It will only punish me. That's the point, Evan said. I won't let it. You'll die. Maybe, he said softly, but I'm not watching you die. Liara closed her eyes. A tear slid down her cheek. I don't want to lose you. The bowl suddenly jerked upward, floating higher, spinning with fierce energy. The silver liquid inside began to rise like a column of glowing water. The Guardian stepped closer, its voice booming. The ritual must continue. The vessel will drink. Evan stepped toward the bowl. Liara grabbed him again, desperate. Evan, stop, please. I can't let you do this. You don't know what this power does. It destroys everything it touches. Evan gave her a quiet smile. Maybe I'm stubborn enough to survive it. Her breath caught. There was something in his smile, something gentle, something fearless that made her chest tighten painfully. The Guardian lifted both arms, summoning a swirling whirlwind of silver mist around the bowl. Its voice echoed like thunder. Human. If you take this drink, you will lose your mind, your body, your soul. You will not be Evan Hawley. You will not be human. You will be nothing but a vessel for my power. Evan swallowed hard. Fear flickered behind his eyes. He wasn't immune to the warnings. He wasn't made of stone. But something in him, something deep and stubborn, refused to step back. He reached for the bowl. Liara screamed. Evan! The Guardian moved instantly. A wave of dark smoke struck Evan, sending him sliding across the ground. He coughed, pushing himself up again. His body shook, but he stood. No human should have stood after that. The Guardian's glowing eyes widened, not with anger this time, but with disbelief. You endure my strike, it said, voice almost confused. Impossible. Evan wiped blood from his mouth. Maybe try harder. Liara stared at him with pure shock. How are you still standing? I've been hit worse, he said, though his knees trembled. The Guardian roared, shaking the room. Cracks split across the ceiling. Dust fell like snow. Enough, it thundered. If the human will not move, then fate will force its hand. The bowl floated down between them, stopping in the center of the glowing ritual symbols. The liquid shimmered like a living star. Evan stepped forward. Liara clung to his hand. The Guardian raised its power. And Evan touched the bowl. The moment his fingers brushed the crystal, the entire temple screamed. Light exploded. Time twisted, and his choice became destiny. The moment Evan's fingers touched the crystal bowl, the whole temple came alive like a creature waking from 1,000-year sleep. Walls pulsed with blinding white light. The carved symbols beneath his feet glowed so bright they looked like burning metal. Liara stumbled backward, shielding her eyes as a shockwave of force rolled across the chamber. Evan felt the bowl vibrate in his hands. The silver liquid inside was no longer calm. It churned like a living storm, twisting upward, in thin threads that reached toward his face. He tried to breathe, but the air itself felt thick, heavy, and electric. A ringing sound filled his ears, a high, sharp tone that felt like it was drilling into his skull. The Guardian towered behind him, its smoky form twisting with strange excitement. It begins, the Guardian said. The unworthy will fall, Liara screamed. Evan, drop it. Drop the bowl. But he didn't. His grip tightened instead. The bowl flickered with light, and the silver liquid rose again. It curled around Evan's wrists like glowing vines. The moment the liquid touched his skin, Evan gasped. It felt cold. Too cold. Like ice made from pure moonlight. It swallowed the warmth from his hands and crept up his arms as if tasting him. His vision blurred. He saw 2 Liara for a moment, then 3. Then everything went white. Liara ran to him, grabbing his arm. Evan, let go. Please let go. I can't. He managed through clenched teeth. The Guardian's voice echoed around them. The human attempts the impossible. The ritual will tear him apart, but Evan didn't scream. He stood frozen, shaking violently, but he did not fall. The silver drink stopped swirling. It suddenly shot upward and slammed into his chest like a wave. Evan's body arched backward. His feet left the floor as the power lifted him into the air. His eyes snapped open, blinding white. No pupils, no color, just like Lyra. Heart broke. "Evan, answer me." His mouth opened, but his voice was not his own. It came out layered, as if two people spoke at once. "Too much power can't hold." The Guardian stepped closer. "The human is breaking. His spirit collapses. His body dissolves." But the Guardian's confident tone was cracking. It did not sound certain anymore. Evan's skin glowed from the inside, bright streaks of silver racing across his arms. His veins lit up like lightning. His heartbeat pounded through the room like drums of war. The air shattered around him in a burst of energy that pushed Lyra off her feet. She hit the ground hard but crawled forward again. "Evan, fight it, please. You have to fight." Evan's body twisted with agony, but something in him refused to stop. His fingers dug into the glowing symbols beneath him. His jaw clenched. His chest rose in a harsh breath. His voice returned, his voice, not the other one. "Not done yet." Lyra froze. He was still in there. He was still fighting. The Guardian recoiled. Impossible. No human should speak under the binding. Evan's nails scraped the stone floor. The glowing liquid crawled up his neck like a moving tattoo. His muscles tensed as if fighting chains. Only he could feel. Lyra crawled closer, tears streaking down her cheeks. "I'm here, Evan. Don't give up. Please, don't leave me." The silver liquid reached his face. It formed a thin layer over his skin like a mask. For a moment, Evan disappeared inside the light. Lyra let out a broken cry. "No, Evan!" Then, the temple exploded with a wave of blinding energy so strong it shook dust from the mountain outside. When the light dimmed, Evan was on his knees, breathing hard. He was alive. The silver glow along his skin pulsed like a second heartbeat. Strange symbols flickered across his arms, as if being written by invisible hands. His eyes glowed faintly, not with pain, but with awareness. He looked up at Lyra slowly. "I'm still me," he whispered, voice hoarse. Lyra covered her mouth, sobbing with relief. She threw her arms around him, holding him tight. "I thought I lost you." He leaned into her, touch, breath shaking. "Not yet." The Guardian stepped forward again, its voice softer, almost confused. "The human survives. The binding does not reject him." Evan stood with difficulty, the new power inside him flickering like an unstable star. "Looks like your drink needs an update," he muttered. The Guardian stared at him, silent. Lyra helped Evan stand fully. She could feel heat radiating from his skin, but it didn't burn her. It felt familiar, safe, strong. "You changed," she whispered. Evan nodded. "Yeah, but I'm not gone." The Guardian's body flickered with tension. The room darkened. "Human is neither vessel nor human, a threat to the pact. He must be eliminated." Lyra gasped. "No." But Evan stepped in front of her, eyes glowing brighter than before. "Let it try." The Guardian roared, and the temple prepared for war. The Guardian's roar shook the entire mountain. Ancient stones cracked. Dust poured from the ceiling. The silver mist around the chamber swirled into a violent storm, forming a spinning vortex behind the Guardian's massive shape. Lyra stumbled back, holding Evan's arm tightly as the Guardian expanded, its smoky limbs stretching across the floor like growing shadows. Evan stood firm, even though his legs still trembled from the transformation. A new strength pulsed through him, a strange heat that rose from his bones, filled his chest and hummed beneath his glowing skin. Eyes burned with silver light. His voice, when he spoke, was calm. "I'm not fighting you for glory. I'm fighting to protect her." The Guardian's glowing eyes narrowed. "You are a distortion, a mistake in the pact. You must be erased." Liara stepped between them, arms outstretched. "No, he saved me. He saved us." "You cannot take him." The Guardian ignored her. Its form expanded until it reached the ceiling. "Human, your mind is unstable. The binding will break you. Your power is incomplete." "It's enough," Evan said. The Guardian attacked. A wave of crushing force shot across the room. It hit Evan like a wall, slamming him backward. Liara screamed as he hit the stone floor and slid across the glowing symbols. But before the Guardian could strike again, Evan pushed himself up and stood. Liara gasped. "How are you still alive?" Evan wiped blood from his lip and waved a shaky hand. "Not sure, but I'm getting used to being hit." The Guardian's form flickered with something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. It struck again. This time the energy came as a narrow beam, sharp enough to cut through stone. Evan raised his arm instinctively. A silver shield burst into existence, glowing like a miniature sun. The Guardian's beam slammed into it, sending sparks across the room. Liara shielded her face. "Evan, that wasn't your power before." "I'm learning fast," he said. His voice strained. The shield cracked. Evan dug his feet into the ground, fighting the force pressing against him. The silver symbols on his arms glowed brighter and brighter, then exploded outward in a shockwave. The Guardian's attack shattered. Smoke rolled backward. The Guardian stepped back in surprise. Evan lowered his arm, breathing heavily. The shield dissolved into silver dust. Liara rushed to his side, holding him as he swayed. "You can't keep taking these hits," she whispered, panic in her voice. Evan met her eyes. "I told you, I'm not leaving you." The Guardian let out a deep, echoing growl. "You defy the rules of the universe. You bend the binding. You reject the destiny made for you. That makes you dangerous." Evan stepped forward again. Then, "I must be doing something right." The air around the Guardian darkened, swirling into a massive cloud of shadow. Out of it, dozens of long, smoky tendrils shot forward like spears, aiming straight for Evan. Liara screamed, grabbing him, trying to pull him back. But something awakened inside him. A surge of power flowed from his chest. Silver flames erupted around him, forming a transparent aura that wrapped around both him and Liara. The tendrils hit the shield with a sound like thunder and dissolved instantly. Liara looked at the shield in amazement. "You protected me too?" Evan nodded faintly. "You don't think I'd let it touch you, right?" The Guardian roared louder than ever. "Enough!" The entire temple began to collapse. Stones split open. Light beams shot from the floor. The Guardian rose into the air, growing until it became a towering storm of shadow and blinding fire. Then, it launched its final attack, a massive torrent of destructive energy, powerful enough to destroy an entire city, exploded from its core aimed directly at Evan and Liara. Evan stepped forward, grabbing Liara's hand. "Stay with me." Liara squeezed his fingers, terrified. "Evan, no human can stop that. Good thing I'm not just human anymore." He planted his feet firmly. His body glowed brighter. The silver light inside him surged like an awakening star. He raised his hands, palms out, facing the incoming storm. The blast hit, but instead of being destroyed, Evan held it back. The chamber filled with violent light. Wind whipped across the room. Liara screamed his name, clutching onto his arm. But Evan pushed forward, step by step, forcing the Guardian's power back. The Guardian's voice cracked in disbelief. "This is impossible. Humans cannot shape the binding." Evan shouted through the storm. Maybe that's why it worked. The silver aura around him burst outward like a supernova. The Guardian's attack shattered completely, scattering into sparks of fading energy. Silence fell. The Guardian's enormous form flickered weakly, Its power was nearly gone. Its bright eyes dimmed. "You have broken the pact," it said, voice trembling. "You have taken the binding into a shape unknown to all creation." Evan stepped forward, glowing like a living star. "And I'm not done yet." The Guardian lowered its head, not in anger, but in fear, because for the first time in thousands of years, it had met something stronger than destiny, the human who refused to die. The Guardian's massive form flickered like a dying flame, its smoky limbs collapsing inward as if the air itself no longer wished to hold it. Cracks of dull light cut through its body. Its bright star-like eyes, once full of cold fury, dimmed with something that looked almost like fear and respect. Evan stood only a few steps away, his body glowing with soft silver light, rising and falling like a second heartbeat. His hair drifted in the air as if underwater. The symbols on his arms pulsed gently. He looked powerful but tired. Very tired. Liara rushed to his side, catching his arm as his knees bent slightly. "Evan, are you okay? Speak to me." He took a slow breath, forcing himself back to his feet. "I'm still here." The Guardian lowered its head, its huge form shrinking with every breath. "The ritual has changed," it said, voice cracked and unstable. "You carry the binding, but not as a vessel. You have shaped it, molded it, twisted it into something it has never been." Liara's voice shook. "Is he dying?" The Guardian shook its smoky head. "No, he is becoming." Evan flinched at that word. He didn't feel like he was becoming anything. Every nerve in his body felt stretched, every bone felt like it hummed with energy, and every heartbeat felt heavy. But Liara's hand on his shoulder grounded him. "I don't want to become anything," he said. "I just wanted to save her." The Guardian's eyes brightened faintly. "Your desire reshaped destiny." The temple trembled, but not with anger. It was as if the ancient structure itself was waking into a new existence. The once rigid walls shifted, glowing softly like living skin. The air warmed. The whispers inside the walls faded into silence. Liara looked around, eyes wide. "The curse, it's breaking." The Guardian nodded. "The pact is undone. Your people are no longer bound to this fate." Her hands flew to her mouth. Tears fell down her cheeks, not from fear this time, but relief. Her whole life she had been prepared for death. Now she had a future, a life she had never imagined. She turned to Evan, gripping his hand tightly. "You did this, you freed us." Evan shook his head slowly. "We did this, together." Before Liara could answer, the Guardian spoke again, this time softer, almost human. "Human, you have taken a burden no one was meant to carry. The binding lives inside you. It will give you strength beyond all life, but it will also test you. It will never leave." Evan looked down at his glowing hands. "I know." Liara's grip tightened. "You don't have to face it alone. I won't leave you." He looked into her glowing eyes, seeing something warm, something steady in them. "I'm glad," he whispered. The Guardian's form shrunk even more, losing its monstrous shape and becoming a faint silhouette of light. "Your courage has changed the history of worlds. You chose another's fate over your own. That is rare." Evan gave a tired smile. "Humans can be stubborn." The Guardian released a sound almost like a laugh. "Stubbornness is not enough. You showed devotion, strength, heart. These are powers older than the pact itself." Its form began to fade into the air, like dust carried by the wind. Liara stepped forward. "What happens now?" The Guardian's voice softened as it dissolved. "Now you live." And then it was gone. A gentle silence filled the chamber. No more rumbling, no more whispers. The silver bowl dimmed, losing its glow. The air felt lighter, almost peaceful. Evan let out a shaky breath, feeling the last tremors of power settle inside him. His skin dimmed, the silver glow fading until only a faint shimmer remained. Liara cupped his face with both hands, her thumbs brushing the dust from his cheeks. "You're still you," she said softly. "I can feel it." Evan placed his hand over hers. "I'm different, but I'm here." She smiled, tears shining in her eyes. "Then that's enough." They walked out of the temple slowly, Evan leaning on her slightly as his strength returned. When they stepped into the open air outside, the sky was brighter, the wind warmer. And in the distance, Liara could hear the voices of her people, safe, alive, untouched by the curse that had ruled them for centuries. When they reached the base of the mountain, Liara turned to Evan again. "You saved my world." Evan shook his head. "No, I saved you. The rest was a bonus." Her heart skipped. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him gently. "Then stay with me," she whispered. "Whatever you've become, whatever happens next, stay." Evan rested his forehead against hers. "I chose your fate over mine once. I'll do it again. As many times as it takes." The mountain wind carried their quiet voices away as they stood there, a human changed forever, and an alien girl whose life he saved, facing a new future together, a future born from courage, sacrifice, and a choice that rewrote destiny.